Today for the CORE7 we're going to be talking about diet, and diet is one of the most important out the CORE7. It's what I say for. Let's get Alpha and Django in first of all. There they are, because we're going down a cut and they normally run off. So diet's absolutely crucial, you know. So far we've covered detox and we've also covered hydration. Well, guess what? Your diet can also contribute to both getting yourself structured water through the food that you eat. Certain foods have got the structured water in, full of hydration, and you can also do the detox, you know, to release certain toxins and everything else, and also to help them come out of the body. So diet is huge. So let's talk about diet itself. What do you want from your diet? Four things really. So let's quickly name them. You want to be getting plenty of nitrate, so you increase your nitric oxide, which is what opens the veins and lowers your blood pressure, better blood flow, better energy, and all this type of stuff. You want antioxidants, because you know that an inflamed endothelial inside your vein is linked to every chronic condition known to man, and also making the endothelial dysfunction, which means lower nitric oxide, higher blood pressure. You want something that's going to keep stable bloods, and also doesn't spike insulin. So I'll put in the comments section, we have the Academy section on our website. This isn't a sales pitch, it's to help and support. So I'll link in the one about nutrition. Take a look through there, so it'll give you some tips on those 4 areas, what type of foods can help with those 4 areas and everything else. As this is a hypertension group, I'll slow down, I was talking a little bit fast there, and there's the boys. As this is a hypertension group, I recommend looking up the DASH diet, the dietary, what's it called? Dietary, it's not attempt, but to stop hypertension. So there we go. It's getting stage fright every time I come on these videos. But what it's going to promote is your natural foods and all of that sort of stuff to eat. And remember, processed foods is bad. The dietary approach to stop hypertension. What a monkey I am. Or numpty should that be. So the advice is eat as close to earth as you can all the time. Non-GMO, organic where you can, everything else. But the dietary approach to stop hypertension is all about getting a nitrate-rich diet and plenty of antioxidants and stuff like that. So that's really important. What does the DASH diet show? Well, the DASH diet shows that to have the human clinical study backings to say that it's going to actually lower your blood pressure and reduce vascular inflammation, all that sort of stuff, you need a minimum of 400 milligrams of nitrates per day. You can definitely get that from your diet, so look it up. A lot of people, if they're very busy business people and all this sort of stuff, and sometimes it's hard if you're traveling at an airport to get all the good stuff. They want to take something like AG1 do with the athletic greens, the powder. You have all of the goodness in one little drink. It's the same what we have with the Heart Health BP, which is the capsules. It's got 400 milligrams of nitrates in, covers all 3 pathways. The Powder Max, which is a delicious chocolate and MCT, coconut derived MCT drink, covers all 4 pathways. But what you want to be doing is what you don't want to be doing is you don't want to be having processed foods, organically grown meats, or synthetically grown meats and stuff like that. That's just ridiculous. All the processed foods are high in the bad salts and all that sort of stuff. You don't want that. Salt, as in Celtic salt, pink. I mean, my tongue's tripping us up this morning. Pink Himalayan salts, or you've got your magnesium, your trace minerals and all that sort of stuff, so that's really important. You should have that. So get rid of all of the processed foods. Eat as close as you can to earth. That's some good advice. Look up the DASH diet. if we're looking at RFK Jr. and what he's doing, he's basically taken the pyramid, the food pyramid, and turned it upside down. Can you imagine that? So what all of the, I don't even know what the institutions are called, is it the CDC or whatever it is, I don't know. All these supposed health institutions saying this is what you should eat. All of these grains and all these sorts of things that spike insulin and your blood sugars going all over the place and everything else. And they're saying that's what you had to do, and RFK just turns it upside down, and all the naturopath and health doctors and everything else are now saying, wow, this is fantastic, imagine that. So have a look that up. You know what RFK Jr. is also doing, he's trying to stop all of the big pharma advertising on the TV, which obviously manipulates people's mind to think that's the only solution. It absolutely isn't. But what's a good thing is that he's starting to promote natural solutions and everything else. And like I say, you can get that through the diet, or you can get it through supplements. And I say that very loosely because 99% of the market are pure gimmicks. You want supplements that's going to work. For example, I'm an engineer, and I've been working with the PhD biomedical science team in the USA, and we decided to create something that's totally unique. Something that's genuine, something that's backed by clinical studies. So let's give a quick example. How do we do that? Okay, we want to produce a natural blood pressure support product. Okay, what does that mean? What's the goal? Well, the goal is we want to increase nitric oxide levels, which we know is critical. It deteriorates with age. We want to reduce vascular inflammation. We know that's critical. It's at the root of all chronic disease, specifically damage to the endothelium, which reduces nitric oxide levels, which increases blood pressure. And we also, as 80% plus of the, let's say, adult US market are deficient in cardio-critical minerals. We want to replenish those to make sure they're back to healthy levels, So, okay, our goal is to produce the best natural blood pressure support product in the world. Drilling down to what that actually means, we want to increase nitric oxide levels, reduce vascular inflammation, and replenish cardio-critical minerals. Okay, this is our goal. Next, when I was working with a PhD biomedical sciences team, they said, let's address all the pathways. And I was like, what do you mean? Pathways, what are they? And what was explained to me was to achieve your goal, there's various different pathways we can go down. And each one of them individually will achieve the goal. So let's have a look at each one of them in turn. So I'll quickly do a spoiler alert. So we looked at all the different pathways which we've identified for. You find out what is which ones have human clinical trials behind the ingredients. So what is the best ingredients and how much of that is required to fulfill the goal of achieving the goal. Reduce blood pressure, for example. And then once you do that, then that's that pathway complete. You would do the same for all 4 pathways. Add all the 4 pathways together, and then you have a complete solution, which is like nothing else on the market. And then you take it a step further and you say, hey, AG1 is like they lead the space for athletic greens, your healthy greens and everything else. What if we do like an AG1 for heart health? Let's do that. Let's choose something that's going to be delicious. So let's go ahead and do that. So we'll put in real cocoa, 70%. Now that in itself is a super potent antioxidant. So not only is it giving flavour, it's giving more of the antioxidants, which is one of the pathways. Also, coconut-derived MCT for energy and all that sort of stuff. Whoa, so this is taste and energy. Wow, this is sound like a pretty good product. So that's what we're doing. That's the process. Identify your goal, identify the number of pathways. For each pathway, what's the best ingredients and the amount required to have human clinical study backing to verify that it's going to work. And then add all them 4 pathways together. That's your complete product. And if you want to do it in powder form, make it delicious, and there we'll have it. I do recommend going to have a look on our website. So there's going to be 2 comments now. So I'll put one for the blog on diet, and I apologise that I've kind of went off on one. but I think it's important to do so in this particular case. And I'll also put one down for we have a specific landing page for the Powder Max, which is the product I've just been talking about. And if you look halfway down that page, take a look at the clinical study section, and as Dr. Joe Dispenza says, this is not me saying this. It's the science. It's what the scientists are saying. It's what the clinical studies are saying. So take a look, and you'll see for each one. So, for example, 400 milligrams of nitrates achieved a certain level of blood pressure drop. Grapeseed extract, 150 milligrams, got 2 clinical studies behind it. We have 300 milligrams, so it's got 4 clinical studies behind it. That's up to nearly 12 points on the systolic blood pressure for the grapeseed extract. And obviously it's not just standard, it's got 95% proanthocyanins. You don't need to understand all the technical bits, but each of the 9 or 10 ingredients that's in the product, every single ingredient, it tells you what it's going to do, whether it's going to reduce blood pressure, whether it's going to increase arterial elasticity, whether it's going to help heal the endothelium, whatever else it is. It's all in there, so I highly recommend having a look at that. And then you'll start to I totally get it, I've got this, it's 3 o'clock today, UK time. I've got the live event, which I'm going to talk about my blood pressure journey and story. So I'll be covering this on that as well. If anybody wants to listen to that, it's 3 o'clock today. But yeah, so one of the biggest issues in the group that I see is lack of trust. Why? Well, because of the story I'm going to be telling today. I went to see my doctor and he wanted to put us on prescribed meds immediately. Wow, no thanks. And our blood pressure reset program teaches all about that. It's all the lifestyle. It teaches you about prescribed meds, how they work, side effects, what to do about this. So it's no thanks, I won't do that. And then I went down a whole route of doing what most of yous have done. I tried all the different supplements, and what I found is wow, due to lack of regulation, 95% plus, and I would say higher than that, of the market is pure gimmicks. It's people who are very experienced at marketing and peddling crap onto the market. So as a result, people feel burnt, they feel total distrustful and everything else. And as I've been through this journey, I healed from stage 2 hypertension, which I'm going to explain it today, down to healthy levels now. And it's not difficult. Anybody can do it. I provide the whole resources on how to do it. My journey, people who know one thing about us, that I am authentic. Authenticity and truth is what, you cut me in half, that's what you find, And this is why we're built CORE7 to vitality. What is the CORE7? Well, in the context of blood pressure here, we've created a product that's unmatched on the market. It's scientifically foundations. Every ingredient has got a clinical study to verify that it works. It's none of this BS. And then, as an example, I'll tell you what, here's an example. You take the product and then you come back complaining to me it doesn't work. But then I look a little bit deeper and I think, hang on, you're a slob that sits on the city, you're eating burgers and chips twice every evening, finishing off with a bucket of popcorn and a 2-litre bottle of Coca-Cola, and you're highly stressed. You don't know how to manage your emotions, all this sort of stuff, and you only sleep 3 hours a night and all so. And all of a sudden, it's my fault that the product didn't work, and the product does work, will work, which I say the 9 or 10 ingredients all have clinical study to verify the work. And there's 4 pathways. Just address one of them pathways, it's going to work, but we do all 4, so it has to work. But if you override that by having a ridiculous lifestyle, and you have a victim mentality and blame everyone else apart from yourself and take ownership for yourself, that's why we created the blood pressure reset program. So that'll give you education on all of the lifestyle things. It's got a 30-day challenge. If you have to go on prescribed medication, and some people do, so I'm not saying don't do that. Some people are in a crisis state, they have to. But it doesn't say you're on them for life. You can certainly get around them, but within the program it teaches you about all the different blood pressure medications, how they work, what are the side effects, how to get around the side effects. It's literally got everything in there. All this CORE7 stuff I'm talking about this week is in there. I know this is now coming on a 15-minute video, but I don't care. I think it's really important to get this across. So with the CORE3, it's about having an unmatched product, best on the market, clinically backed scientific foundation. It is the best, full stop. Happy to have that conversation with anyone. You know, any biomedical scientist that wants to come in here and have a chat, not a problem. We've created a Harvard level BP reset program. Have a look at the pinned post I've put at the top of this group. You'll be able to see. Covers all of the modules, shows you what's in there. Best in the world. I'll stand behind that. If somebody wants to come and chat to us about that, not a problem. We can have that chat, you know. Maybe some good stuff comes out of it, you know. It brings awareness to it. And then everybody needs support, you know. If you're like me, you go to the doctor and you feel totally isolated, go on this meds, that's your only option. It's like, hang on, I don't want to do that, you know. So I'm quite a strong individual, so I don't need a team to be able to, you know, to lean on or whatever else. I do things individually, but not everybody's like that. So that's why we have the Elevated Blood Pressure Community Group, which you are a part of. It's 62,000 members. It's grown significantly all the time. Why? It has no spam. It's highly engaged. It's genuine. We're sharing this genuine information. It's a safe space where you can ask questions. Look at people's posts. Look at how many comments they get and everything else. It's crazy, you know. So that's the CORE3. CORE3, do the CORE3, you get to vitality, you get to have that youthful energy and everything else. So the CORE3 is the product. The training on the lifestyle and on what to do and all these sorts of things. And then the community support and help. That's the CORE3. You tell me anybody else, any other company out there that does that, you know, they don't, because it's all about money, you know. I've been doing this for 3 years now. I haven't had a month yet where it's been profitable. I get people complaining about price and all this sort of stuff. Sometimes it makes us laugh, you know. It's like, you know, not in a judgmental way. It's like these people have been burned so many times, I don't blame them. Hey, I can buy a beetroot product for $15. Yours is a ridiculously priced. It's like, no, well, I tell you what, if you buy the beetroot product, which only addresses one of the 4 pathways, and it's only got 10 milligrams of nitrates in, and you need 400 milligrams, so it's 90% under dose, it's not going to work. Is that good value for money? If you've bought it for $15, it's not going to work, you may as well get your money and tossed it out the window. And is that good value? So it's about the educational process of getting that across, which is what I've tried to do within the group. I was disappointed. I put up a post, asked everybody to support us and like the post, comment, share, to help Facebook to spread it around about where I was trying to bring doctors into this group, where we can have a round table. There's a lot of comments about all negative, really, why it can't happen, this, that, like, that's untrue. You know, absolutely, a doctor can come into space. This is for educational purposes only. We're not going to diagnose anybody on the call. It's about like sharing experience of what they see, the experience they have, a safe space where people can ask questions live. And it just, nobody bothered to click on it. So that's a question really, what do I need to do to help people help themselves, you know, because it's crazy, you know. I'm going to keep going and eventually it will click on, but okay, this is almost 20 minutes. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to round off with diet. You don't have, you do what you want, but I recommend you don't have processed foods. You try and eat as close to earth as you can. You want something as organic as you can, none of this pesticides and GMO and all that sort of stuff. I recommend looking up the DASH diet specifically for people in this group. It's a dietary approach, I remember now, dietary approach to stopping hypertension. You want to be focusing on nitrate-rich diet, high in antioxidants, foods that's going to not spike your blood, not spike insulin, all that sort of stuff. In the blog, you'll be able to see that. If anybody's interested to learn about the 4 different pathways and how they work and why it's so critical, I can't put in this video, it's too long now, but I can certainly do a video on that. And then with that education and knowledge, you might be, wow, holy moly. And now you understand why we're totally unmatched on the market. You don't need to tell us about creating business. I've built and sold businesses, very successful and all that sort of stuff. This is totally different. It's not for money. This is to help and to give back and everything else. So, you know, if it works, great. If it doesn't work, it's like a shame. You know, it won't affect me financially. It's a shame that I was unable to share my story, people to believe us, and to be able to help millions of people. You know, so that's all I have for today. As always, there's only one of them. There's Alpha. Django's in the bushes. If you can like this video, share it, comment it, it'll help Facebook spread it around so more people get value from it. I hope you're getting some value from this video today. And like I say, there'll be 2 comments, a link to the Powder Max and a link to the diet blog. I recommend looking at those. Thank you very much for your time. Cheers now. Bye bye.